I'm done with the relationship thing.
I'm emotionally unavailable.
I'm emotionally damaged.
You know what I'm saying?
No emotions, just sex.
So I guess we should just start.
Bedroom.
What's wrong with the couch?
The bedroom has better light. And since we're just friends, I don't have to be insecure about my body.
Come on, you're beautiful. You have nothing to be insecure.
That sounds emotionally supportive. Lock that down.
Your ass is a little bony.
Much better.
All right, there is one thing that this movie says that I agree is in 99% of the cases absolutely true.
That you can't have friends with benefits without it turning into something?
Without it either turning like frightfully sour or ending up getting married. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And in which case frightfully sour would be a way of describing that. But that is the title of this movie, Friends with Benefits. No, it is not a straight up rehash of the recent Natalie Portman, Ashton Kutcher.
It's funny because that's what everybody says.
Well, yeah. In fact, it's almost a meme on the web at this point that they're just like remaking that movie. And it's not.
It really?
I mean,
I just watched the trailer, and while it's not the exact same movie, it's the exact same movie.
Well, okay. So what you had in that movie was a guy and a girl who kind of convince themselves that they just need to be like sex buddies, right?
Right.
Except the girl is really kind of fucked up inside about relationships, and so is the guy, and of course eventually it leads to complications as they both realize they want more, and then they break up and stop even being friends and then get back together again. This movie, okay, so maybe it is kind of like a remake of that, but to be fair, the trappings are extremely different here.
Okay.
All
Because that movie starred a young popular actor and actress, one we've seen on a TV show, on that 70s show, as a matter of fact.
Uh-huh.
And this is...
Okay, so... Yes, but the important thing is that Natalie Portman is not a musician. That is where you have to see that there is a gigantic difference between these two films. No, in all seriousness, that was played in a much more traditional romantic comedy setup in a lot of ways. And if I remember correctly, we even kind of liked it.
I liked it.
This isn't bad.
I have positive feelings about that movie.
I mean, it wasn't like one of those things you would go tell your friends to go out and see. But
anybody who likes romantic comedies, I would tell them to see it.
If they like romantic comedies, you go by all means go and see it. Now, this, on the other hand, is not really a film for, at least for the first half of it, not really for the romantic comedy crowd, because it really wants you to be super self-aware of the nature of romantic comedies. I wouldn't go so far as to say that it's meta, per se, that it's self-aware that it is a romantic comedy.
Well, now, I've seen in the movie where Mila Kunis is dogging on Katherine Heigl for making all those shitty romantic
Well, because
comedies.
they do, part of the thing with her character is that she is frustrated by the part of her that isn't a cynical New Yorker inside, that she likes to keep buried, that likes watching incredibly crappy romantic movies.
Okay.
And gets wrapped up in that, and she hates it because she wants to bury that little part of her that actually believes in love and thinks that any of that stuff is really possible, when in truth she just needs to get some work done and make a career and just, go on with her life. She didn't have time for a serious relationship. Sex, yes. Relationship, no. So she's this popular, or this powerful, somewhat powerful New York headhunter. And she basically gets Justin Timberlake's character, Dylan, out to New York, who is totally an LA boy, for this job working at GQ, which totally apparently suits him. And she,
of course, Justin Timberlake has been on the cover of GQ a number of times.
Right. They make a point of showing you GQ like 80 times in this film. Guess who paid for it? I'm just saying. I'm pretty sure it was involved on some level. So he comes out there. They have this great, wonderful night in New York together, where Mila Kunis as Jamie shows him the city from a this isn't like Seinfeld, she says. New York is its own thing. Let me show you what the real New York is like. And she goes around to show him every cliche that you've ever seen of anyone showing someone else New York.
Take him to Brooklyn.
Here's the Brooklyn
get him
Bridge.
lost.
Here's the top of a building where you can see the stars.
You can go buy crack over there, and you can get mugged in Central Park.
That was the New York tour I got. But he is, if not taken with New York, then certainly taken with her. There's a scene where she is arranged towards the end of it. She takes him to Times Square, where even the audience is like, really? Times Square? And he's like...
I love that. I'm going to take you to the real New York.
And he's like, really? He actually says, really? Times Square? And then she's plunked him down in the middle of a flash mob that's going on there, which is actually pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
Like, oh, wow, you didn't even know this was happening. He's like, wait, what's going on?
Come on.
Oh, you're showing me Times Square. This is not touristy at all.
Oh, would you shush? Come on.
So everybody just kind of walks
Okay.
wherever they want then.
How about right here?
What do you mean?
I love you, NY. City of lights, city of dreams, city of sirens, city of kings. You can feel the light flow through these streets. One sound they feed.
What is this?
It's a flash mob.
Do these people get paid for this?
No, they kind of just do it for fun. It's nice to feel like you're a part of something. New York can be a little bit lonely at times.
And you're trying to sell me on it.
Every place can be a bit lonely sometimes.
I'm in.
What?
You sold me.
Really?
I'll take the job.
Oh my god!
What are you surprised?
No! Oh, you are gonna crush it! Amazing!
Flash mob is a much more, according to the movie, I don't even know if this is true or not, but according to the movie, it's a New York thing and not an LA thing. I doubt that's true, but I think in the context of the film, sure.
Sure, we can let him have
Why
that
not? We're going to have to swallow bigger fish than that. So he decides, screw it. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna move to New York and I'm gonna take this job and we're gonna see what happens. So he's there for a while, happy enough, working this job. He gets to be friends with Mila Kunis. There's constantly this sort of like push me, pull you of sexual tension.
I thought it was
between
gonna be one
the
of those
two
like he
them.
steps off the bus and immediately a pimp latches onto him, and next time she finds him, he's out selling his ass on the street.
No.
Okay.
Well, I mean, if we were doing the Justin Timberlake story, metaphorically, that's probably entirely true. So, you know, you start watching these two start to become friends and then closer friends, but then there's that sort of like, you know, like they're feeling each other out, not up, but feeling each other out about feeling each other up. And it gets to the point where they both say, look, neither one of us want a relationship. We're both career-minded people. We think relationships are lame, and we both like don't want to deal with a bunch of messy emotions, but we both desperately need to get fucked.
Yeah.
So, thus the title of the film. Sure, what could possibly go wrong?
Yeah,
with
that
a friends
always
with
works
benefits
out.
situation?
Except never.
Yeah, drnerdlove.com.
Yeah.
So, what happens is what exactly you would think would happen, which is what we described earlier.
Sure.
I don't want to go too much into it from there. What I will say is just start talking about how this movie actually was. Now, and the real way it did differ from whatever the hell that other film
From no Strings Attached.
Yeah, No Strings Attached.
Is that this had somebody from Black Swan in it?
No.
No?
Wait, yes.
Oh.
Shit!
Okay.
You've been saving that one up. Yeah, but you can't find that Justin Timberlake crossover. You're looking, but you can't find it.
Oh, the night is young, my friend.
I know it must be there. There's no way that it's not, because life is just cruel like that.
Right.
No, the real difference here is that whereas why can't No Strings Attached is much more of a traditional romantic comedy in the way that it plays out in many ways, in the way that its sense of humor is,
right,
the way that its sweetness lies. This is a very cynical film in a lot of ways, at least for a large part of it. It wants to be kind of meta, not totally. Like I said, it doesn't turn to the audience and go, yeah, we know. But, you know, there's no fourth wall breaking going on here on any level. But it is a romantic comedy about, at least at first, what's wrong with romantic comedies and how, like, even though we love them, the characters in the film, how ridiculous and improbable
I can
they
appreciate
really are.
that.
Yeah, of course, except that it doesn't really stick to its guns as far as the plot goes with that, because while it goes on pointing out all the problems and the things that romantic comedies do that are ridiculous, it ends up doing most of those things in a completely unironic and not self-aware fashion.
Man, I so hate when a movie does that.
Yeah, and it's irritating because it felt like it was written by different people, like a lot of different people, which is written by 4 different people. So there you go. Okay, and maybe even more.
I was going to say,
uncredited.
a bunch of other ones who didn't get credit.
But that's the funny thing about this film is that it is funny. It just doesn't have a lot of soul. Whereas I thought Friends...
No Strings Attached.
Yeah, No Strings Attached had actually a lot of soul. I really liked those characters, and I liked what they did with the story.
Yeah, you care about what's going to happen.
It wasn't all that funny.
It's like you know how it's going to go, but you look forward to it because you like these people.
Yeah, it wasn't all that funny, though. It was kind of funny, but it wasn't.
It was
that
cute.
wasn't its strong point.
It was funny enough.
Yeah. Whereas this strong point is that it's actually very funny at points, but it never feels like these are real people saying these words. It feels like a team of comedy writers plunking words down in the mouths of characters played by actors who honestly don't really like each other at all.
Really?
I mean, okay, so there's a lot of I'll talk about this in a minute. There's a lot of actors in this film who pop up just for like 5 minutes or like small roles, and one of them is Woody Harrelson, who plays a sports writer at GQ, who is a gay man, but he's like one of those gay men you'd never guess is gay,
right?
You know, and it's ironic because, like, watching him and Justin Timberlake together, you know, I've never been one to push, oh, come on, Timberlake's gay at all. I never really thought that until I saw him having a conversation with Woody Harrelson, who is supposed to be playing the gay guy, who doesn't seem gay at all, talking to Justin Timberlake, who's supposed to be the heterosexual guy, who, hate to break it to you, is about as gay as the Staten Island Ferry.
So that's so you think Cameron Diaz and Jessica Biel were just beards?
They could have. Oh man, when you start getting to that level of celebrity, that's when they start setting that stuff up.
No, that is true.
You know, I mean, I'm not guaranteeing it.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
not saying,
you better watch what you say. He could sue you.
I think the only thing that would be wrong with that, if that was the case, was that he was hiding it and not just embracing it.
Okay,
you know?
fair enough.
Yeah, because I like shit, man. If you're gay, just fucking like, you know, Harvey Fierstein that shit. Bring it out. But you know what? That's even if he's not. I didn't feel any chemistry between him and Mila Kunis, which is unfortunate because they spend half this movie, you know, Hollywood naked on top of each other, grinding each other's crotches.
Yeah, I can see that in the trailer. You know what? I thought about when you said that to me earlier today, and I'm sitting here thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? I've actually never seen anybody have romantic chemistry with Mila Kunis. I mean, maybe Ashton Kutcher on that 70s show, but they were like kids.
Oh,
it was
Natalie
funny.
Portman.
Okay. that might be it because they were all, you know, I mean, just like Mila Kunis, she always comes off kind of abrasive.
Yeah.
It's something about her voice.
Yeah.
So, and I've never seen her with somebody in a movie where I felt that chemistry, like she's really into them.
Yeah, okay, I'm not going to say it again, but I can't get it out of my head now. I mean, it's right there. It's staring at me at the face, just like, well, you know. Anyway, but you're absolutely right. I never, even on that 70s show, it was laughable that she was ever involved with any of the characters she was supposed to be involved with on that show. And here it feels that way as well, but I felt more resistance from Timberlake in it than I felt from her.
Like he was going,
he looked
ew.
like he was kind of grossed out. I just... Maybe she's like the of like Rhett Butler of like today's films, and that she looks really cute, but she has no personal hygiene at all and smells bad and has bad breath. I'm not saying she does, by all means. I'm just saying Timberlake looked like she did, as far as I could tell. And that's unfortunate because like the stuff that's written between these guys, this is some great dialogue back and forth. It's super funny. But it relies so much on selling that they're wildly attracted to each other and that they're super likable, realistic characters.
Well, let me ask you this, because there was a romantic comedy with Hugh Jackman and Ashley Judd. And I can't remember the name of it. I know it's based on a book called Animal Husbandry. But it was a similar thing where they were best friends, but best platonic friends. And it really sold you on that. And they had great chemistry as friends. And the movie waits till not the third act, but really like the last 15 minutes for her to go like, oh, wait, he's the guy I should end up with, and throws them together. Yeah. And when it does, it's like, this doesn't work. You totally sold me on them being friends, and them suddenly having this romantic angle. It's like you've just forced it. I don't buy it at all. Was it similar to that?
Maybe a little. I think that by the time it got there, I know that I had, at least personally, sort of acknowledged that this was watching a room full of punch-up writers work and not really a movie, as it were.
Yeah.
I mean, 30 minutes into it, it wasn't that I disliked it. I was just kind of listening at the script, like marveling at how funny some of the writing was, but sad that it wasn't overlaid on top of a story that was very interesting at all.
Gotcha.
You know, so I don't know. Would that have been the case maybe if they had been like better actors in these roles? I mean, not that these two are terrible, but I just didn't think they were good together, or that somebody had thought out maybe the base story more. There's a lot of interesting stuff here going on regardless. There's a lot of good side roles in here. So like I said earlier, there's a lot of celebrities who pop up in this movie. I mean, fucking around every corner, every rock they lift up, there's like another celebrity hiding underneath it for just a cameo. Like I said, Woody Harrelson is very funny in his role.
He's just a cameo, huh?
Well, I mean, he's in it for maybe 5 minutes, you know,
okay.
But in several different scenes adding up. You've got Patricia Clarkson, who plays Mila Kunis' mother, who's this sort of crazy old hippie.
I love Patricia Clarkson. I love her in everything.
Sexy
I see her in.
MILF girl. There's a great line where like she goes, well, you're just lucky that my mom didn't, try and seduce you. It's like, well, she did put her number in my phone under MILF. It's like, okay, that's the kind of funny writing. That's like, okay, that's clever, but it just never seemed like the real world on any level. And this is a movie that wanted you to think it really was. These people are so clever and witty, and they constantly talk like, I mean, the characters in Juno seemed like the way everyone in the world talked to each other next to the way characters in this film talk.
Well, you know what? I think back, because this is the same director of Easy A.
Yeah.
And I remember Patricia Clarkson and Stanley Tucci as Emma Stone's parents in that.
Yeah.
And they had that kind of thing going where it's like, oh, wow, these parents are so cool. I'm like, yes, and they're so not realistic the way they're talking.
She could be playing that mom if she had never gotten married. If like she had just like totally said, fuck it, I'm just going to go out and party and get laid all the time and everything. But it's similar a lot of ways in some of the same beats. Also, you've got Richard Jenkins has a small role in here, playing the father of Justin Timberlake's character who has Alzheimer's. And it's a role that could have been very touching, but by the time it finally comes along in the film, it just feels so slammed in there. Like
I was going to say, even you mentioning that, I'm like, where'd that come from?
Feels like a last-ditch attempt to like inject some emotional background into these characters.
I always feel like Richard Jenkins is the other Bryan Cranston.
Yeah, right. And I think Jenkins is a great actor that Hollywood misuses a lot.
Yeah.
I hope he gets a really great TV show like Breaking Bad
exactly.
to really show off what he can do.
Well, it's funny because he had one. It was 6 feet under, except he got killed off in the first episode.
Yeah, I know. Jenna Elfman is in here. We're like, wow, Jenna Elfman, where the fuck have you been? Playing
on Planet Xenu.
Right, playing Timberlake's sister, who's actually quite good. There's small roles in here by Emma Stone and Andy Samberg as the previous relationships that the main characters had. There's the uncredited Jason Segel and Rashida Jones have this weird continuing cameo with a really
from I Love You Man. Did they come over from that?
Well, they're like they're watching like the favorite terrible romantic comedy that Mila Kunis likes, and she keeps watching. And they admit this is awful, this is shit, but it's like this fake one they made with them. They're doing all this totally ridiculous cliched shit in it. And it's funny that for every moment in it that I go, you know what, this is just it just rings so hollow. I'm getting mad at the fact that I can't really engage with these characters. The next minute I was laughing really hard. And there was even some moments that were so calculatedly perfect that they even took me by surprise. Like the whole flash mob thing is much later, of course, used to great effect. 'Cause how can you not bring that full circle in a romantic comedy, right?
Sure.
And yet when they do, you still don't see it coming, and it's still a pretty fucking awesome moment. Right. There's so much good about this film that I hate to... I hate that they released it too early. It's like like your souffle. It hadn't risen all the way, and now you can't eat it. What are you supposed to do with that?
You have to wait for the next movie that's about fuck buddies.
I know.
Which should be here in about 3 months.
Shit, man. At this point, it's going to become a genre of itself.
Yeah, exactly.
Remember when there was only one body switching film?
Right.
Anyway, I'm just going to... This is a quick one for us because I don't see any reason to drag this out when you didn't get a chance to see this. There was a meteor, folks. It was beyond his control.
I tried.
He saved the planet. Let's not go too much into it.
And they did show it again, but it was during Captain America. And come on.
Yeah, really.
Wait, what do you want from me?
You can't get blood from a comic book fan because we're afraid of needles. I'm gonna give this a matinee, actually.
Really?
And that is...
I thought I smelled a high rental.
No, because I think there's a lot of funny stuff here, more than enough to make it worth seeing in the theater. But I exhibit great caution because, like I said, don't expect to really get into the story. Just go into it to expect to laugh, and that, at the very least, they accomplished quite well.
Okay.
Like I said, you know what? I'm going to change that. Low matinee. Because it does make me very sad that this isn't as good as it should have been. This could have been a 500 Days of Summer type of thing.
Wow.
And it just isn't. I actually blame the director because it felt like he had a lot of really awesome parts.
And he didn't know what to cut.
No idea what to cut. He had no idea what to bring together. And quite frankly, he didn't know how to direct his actors, how to deliver this type of dialogue in the right way.
You know what? It's probably one of these things where, I mean, to get such high-profile, recognizable actors as he did, he was just lucky to get that and had to just eat shit and do whatever they wanted to do.
Yeah, maybe so. I mean, I'm sure on the whole, somebody had this script. They're like, this is this great script. We've had this great script. We've just been looking for the right people to plug into it. You know, right now, Kunis is hot, and Timberlake really needs a starring vehicle like this. He needs to be up to the next level. And I think, if anything, this proved to me that Timberlake may not be capable of taking it to the next level.
See, it's funny how long I've been saying this and getting shot down by people like, hey, he was great in Alpha Dog. I'm like, look, he's decent in Alpha Dog, but he's not Alpha Dog.
Yeah.
He hasn't had a starring vehicle yet.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is this is his one where he has to play it not in a character actor type of way, in a more of a straight way, which is always the testing ground, because it's a lot easier to do character actor. Like, you're doing the extreme part, you know, have you got an accent, or you're like kind of totally playing this character unlike yourself.
Or character actors, a lot of times their parts are short and they're given all the great dialogue.
Yeah. Here he's really got to carry the film with Kunis, and he seems really uncomfortable. He does not seem up to the task at all. I thought Kunis actually on the whole did great. You know, as much as she could, I mean, with no chemistry with her leading man.
I mean, look, I mean, you know, Timberlake, the kid's talented. Yeah, no taking that away from him, but she's been acting since she was a kid.
Yeah,
and you know, I guess he was with the Mickey Mouse Club, if you want to count that.
Yeah, it's not like this is like a superior performance by her, but at the same time, she does pull it off. She does sell you much more so than he does on her character, her likability. One thing I'm going to say here, though, is, all right, so there's like a lot of actresses now are going, like good actresses are saying, hey, if I'm going to do one of these movies, if I'm going to do a sex fucking comedy or a sex romantic drama, you kind of have to take off your clothes at this point. And this film dances around actually showing her naked in every sort of like Austin Power-ish thing, blocking the camera way it can, and not as jokes and sort of, this is clever, we'll be able to get away with not actually showing her nude, way that it can possibly dream of to do. And just for, you know, Anne Hathaway is a much better actress than you are, Mila, and she just said, there they are, sweater puppies, check them out.
Yeah,
now this feels like a real sexy fucking film.
And Hathaway needs to teach seminars on what these actresses should be doing.
Of course, then again, she's also got not just twice as much acting talent, but, you know, got twice as much to show there.
There is that too.
Scene, so maybe it was that. I'm just saying. I can't speak.
Well, she needs to go talk to Haley Atwell.
I know. There you go. That's a movie.
You have a boat? I live in Jersey, and I ain't taking no ferry. Unless it's out to dinner and a show. Bam!
To stop buying into this Hollywood cliche of true love. Shut up, Katherine Heigl, you stupid liar!
I think I messed it up.
It seems you're really into this guy. Do you want some motherly love advice?
Mom! What are you doing?
I'm the princess, and Aubrey's my bad little pony. Never done this before?
This is the LAPD.
I told you!
Get down now.
Get down!
I have a fear of heights.
Why would you come up here?
You called me a pussy!
Sir, this is your last warning.
They actually wrapped you in a foil blanket. Oh my God, that's good.
Oh, I gotta see that again.